Blog Talk Radio.
Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports Show. This is the Red Wings edition. It is March 8th, 2014 at 11 o'clock. And we are talking about the Red Wings. I am on Facebook, Taylor Phillips, also on YouTube, Google, Pinterest, and StumbleUpon. You can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at DT2Phillips with two L's. D as in dog, T as in top, the number 2, and then Phillips with two L's. Also on Facebook, you can like Taylor Phillips's Detroit Sports Show and join Taylor Phillips's Detroit Sports Group. Guidelines: if you have called in and then hung up in some way and haven't spoken yet, just redial this number, 646-478-4837. Again, that's 646-478-4837. Also, keep it very clean, keep it respectful, and if you don't know much about this, you can still just listen, and only I can change the topic because I'm the host of the show. So let's get into the week in review. The Wings were 2-0. We're coming off a 2-0 record since Henrik Zetterberg's injury after the Olympic break. They were heading into New Jersey. And it was one goal game all along, and a tie game. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, and 3-3. New Jersey had the last two leads. Detroit had the first until Stephen Gianta tipped one in on a shot from the point from Mark Fane and past Jimmy Howard. To give the Devils a 4-3 regulation win, because the defense did not step up. Neither did Howard, who gave up four goals in that game. And that's what sets me off. Both the Wings and their opponent play a great game, tied, until the Wings give one right up at the end of right before the very end of regulation to lose in regulation. That cost them both the 2 points, not just one. It's both, and that's what the Wings cannot afford to have to do. In this case, they're trying to barely hang in the playoffs. Hang on to their wild card spot. They were stuck with 68 points. They've done it like 8 times before, or up to 8, or up to 8. So the Wings headed home on Thursday to play the Avalanche on Nicholas Lidstrom's retirement ceremony night, and they lost again in a shootout, in overtime actually, not a shootout, just overtime, with just 32 seconds, 31.7 to go. Andre Benoit was left open and one time the rebound home past Howard, who gave the Avalanche a 3-2 overtime victory. From there, Howard has given up 7 goals the last 2 games. And back to the New Jersey game. Howard gave a goal in the first minute of each of the first and third periods. Yeah. Some may say that Howard sucks. I might too, but still, he's in a slump, and we can't have that. We just can't. When we need the points the most in this situation, but back forward to the Avalanche overtime victory, it gave the Wings only 1 point, and Columbus and Tampa Bay and Washington, Columbus and Tampa Bay both lost in regulation. Washington, I think, might have head off. That was it. In between those games, the Wings traded Patrick Eaves, Kalle Järnkrok, their top prospect, and a conditional third-round pick to the Predators from Nashville for David Legwand. And some might think, what? That's a horrible trade. You give up your top prospect to the Predators? I mean, Kalle Järnkrok used to help the Griffins win the Calder Cup last year. But here's the good part of the trade. Some say that Legwand is a two-way center / forward, which he can be at most times. Some are saying he used to be a great goal scorer for Nashville. The question is, does he still have that goal scoring touch in him? We'll have to see. And I'd like you to answer that question with your opinions at 646-478-4837. Now, moving on to the Friday game against the Devils at the Joe. The Wings jumped out to a 1-0 lead then in the first period on a Brendan Smith goal, who now, that guy now has scored 2 goals in his last 3 games. It's on a bit of a hot streak, but not that hot yet. it is more complicated than some might think, only because they get their hopes up. Then they went up 2-0 in the second period on Franzen's first goal. On a deflection. Then the Wings went on another power play, and Tatar received a pass and just horribly mishandled it, and that gave one away to Patrick Elias, who broke away shorthanded the other way and slapped one past Jonas Gustafsson to put the Devils on the board shorthanded with just 24 or so seconds left on the Red Wings power play, and that was unassisted. Then the Devils from there, New Jersey, had the momentum. Jaromir Jagr slipped past 3 Wings and wristed one past Gustafsson, the monster. Top shelf to tie it at 2. And Mike Babcock called his timeout, which he shouldn't have. Which I thought he shouldn't have at that point. And then Adam Henrique, because you know the timeout wouldn't have helped anyway, because Adam Henrique wristed one home to put the Devils up 3-2. But the Wings weren't dead yet. Franzen tied it on the power play. That was their first power play goal of the game. And it was a slapper from Todd Bertuzzi. Gustav Nyquist picked up his second goal of the game. The second Red Wings goal, David Legwand got an assist. That was his first point as a Red Wing. As a Red Wing. And then the Wings went back on top with Gustav Nyquist wristing one past Corey Schneider. David Legwand picked up another assist, and Eriksson picked up one of his own. And then Kyle Quincy got into the act, made it 5-3 from Shan and Kaiser, even strength. That's how the second period would end. Third period, the Devils were trying to get back into it. They had a power play, but the Wings killed it off, and then the Devils turned it over when Franzen got out of the box. David Legwand stole the puck, passed to Johan Franzen, who shot one right at Corey Schneider, who fell down. The rebound came to David Legwand, who top shelf one into the open net for his first goal as a Red Wing. And that made it 6-3 Detroit. That would be it for the scoring of David Legwand, but he's only getting warmed up. May I assure you, Red Wings fans everywhere, this: And then Drew Miller put the nail in the coffin on a wrist shot from Todd Bertuzzi and Joachim Anderson. Bertuzzi wound up with 2 assists. That made it 7-3 Detroit. Then Adam Henrique was left open. Made it 7-4 on the backhand. Too little at 18:42. Too little, too late. Wings win 7-4. Pick up 2 important points. Wind up at 71 points. They were 2 ahead from that point on over the Blue Jackets, who are now tied with the Wings for 8th place, but the Wings hold the tiebreaker with 5 less regulation losses, 21-26 for Columbus. They're both 3 down from the Lightning, and only 1 point behind the Red Wings' next opponent tomorrow at 12:30 on NBC. The New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden. The Garden. And then on Tuesday, both the Wings and Jackets play each other at Nationwide Arena at 7. That'll be on Fox Sports Detroit. Plus, Fox Sports Detroit Plus. And the Wings have 2 days off before returning to the Joe, and I was wondering when those Oilers were coming to the Joe, and I finally got the answer. They come into the Joe this Friday for a game at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit. And then on Sunday, the Wings try to sweep the season series in games, but not on points, though. They take on the defending Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks. 7:30 on NBCSN. That might be changed to 12:30 on NBC. And then on Tuesday the 18th, the Wings look for revenge against the Maple Leafs after the Winter Classic. That one's at the Joe on Tuesday at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit on the 18th. And then Crosby and Malkin come to town on the 20th on Thursday. Same time, same channel, same building. Oh, and then the Wings and Wild, they have a home-and-home set starting in Minnesota on Saturday at 2 on Fox Sports Detroit, and Sunday at 7:30 on NBCSN. That might be subject to change. From there, the Wings would have only about 8 or 9 games left in the regular season. But I would say they would have to forget the standings and try to win every game by a rout. Don't look at the standings and think, "Oh man, we're nervous. We gotta start winning. What are we gonna do? We gotta start hoping everybody else loses in regulation, so we stay in it." Wrong. We gotta pick it up, people. Keep winning each game by a rout. Most Red Wing fans, for example, do not want overtime. We don't want just 1 point. We want 2. Finish it in regulation. Don't give up that late regulation goal anymore, please. It's driving me and most Red Wings fans bonkers. And now we're receiving more injury news. Pavel Datsyuk is out for 3 weeks, and Darren Helm is out for a week. Datsyuk with a knee injury. And Darren Helm is out for an undisclosed injury. I'll have to look it up. This was actually posted a week ago, or I mean a day ago actually. Darren Helm is out at least a week with concussion-like symptoms. He's experiencing headaches. And we also have some news about Daniel Alfredsson. He says he will wait to make until after the season's over to make his decision on his future of playing in the NHL. It also says in that article on DetroitRedWings.com, Yurko's Olympic jersey goes to the Hockey Hall of Fame, which sounds weird. It says Tomas Jurko was shocked as anyone when he heard that the Hockey Hall of Fame as one of the Slovakian jerseys he wore in the Sochi Olympics last month. He says, I quote, "I think I read it on Twitter, but I did not know if it was true or not. I guess they just grabbed it. I don't know. We had 2 jerseys. I got one of them to keep it, and I didn't know what happened to the second one, so I guess they took it," unquote. That means they took it to embroider it. Got about 6 minutes left in the show. If you want to call in for an opinions, you still have some time left. Number is 646-478-4837. There's also a chat window for you to comment your opinions. What do you guys think of the trade for David Legwand? Are you one-sided, or are you looking at both sides? Do you agree with it or disagree with it? 646-478-4837 is again the number. Also, Peter Mrazek has been recalled from Grand Rapids for some reason. Let me look at the roster. Gustafson and Howard are fine. They are not put on injured reserve. I think it's just, I think both goalies have been struggling of late after Gustafson only allowed 1 goal in Ottawa a week ago in the 6-1 shellacking of the Senators. There are 2 other injured Red Wings that are injured, which I would like for them to go after the season. Michael Samuelson and Dan Cleary, they haven't produced much, and they're on injured reserve. So Ken Holland, if I were you, I'd dump him. I'll have to post. I'll have to check on this Peter Mrazek recalling situation, and then post on Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports page the reason why. So we're going to other college hockey scores. Michigan State edged Michigan 4-3 after Michigan shut out Michigan State 1-0 at Yost. Western Michigan also nipped North Dakota 2-1. FSU over Ferris State over Lake Superior State 2-1, and Minnesota State blanked Michigan Tech 3-0. That's going to do it for the Red Wings edition of Taylor's Detroit Sports Show. I'm going to take a 30-minute break, and then I'll be back with the Pistons edition, which may be short. Pistons are still on a losing streak. I will get to that. But hopefully the Red Wings will win pretty much all the rest of their games by a rout, which I want them to, because that's apparently what it's going to take to at least stay in the playoff contention and maybe climb up the standings a bit. That's what I want. That's really what I want the Wings to do. So I'm going to take a break right now. Come on back.